Welcome back to the workshop. Today we are going to do a little open box review and setup of a new toy here that I've been wanting to get for a while. What I have is the OES 80CS Jet Oscillating Horizontal Vertical Edge Sander. It's a pretty heavy little package here. We've got really, I guess, 275 pounds, 258 pounds net weight. Gross weight's 275. I guess that's all container. So 258 pounds of tool. And we also got the Universal Mobile Base by Jet. I like Jet products all right. I've used their drum sander for a while now and I've had no issues with that. You've probably seen that in some of my other videos, the 1632. So that works good for the faces of stuff, and this should work good for the edges. And I'm kind of needing this for the project I'm working on right now. Is I'm a Corvair van. I've built some doors and I need to do some edge sanding, and this will definitely do me a good job on that. So we'll go ahead and see if we can open this up and see what's in the box. Okay, we have gone in and got all the miscellaneous parts and pieces out of the box. Not a whole lot of them here. A couple nuts, bolts, brackets, tabletop, and the base. So we'll go ahead and start reading through the directions and see what it takes to put all this together. I'm going to leave that heavy part right where it is because I think I'm going to have some assistance to move that. That's the bulk of the weight. So we'll see how that goes here in a little bit. Okay, I think I've got everything pretty well pulled out of the box. I've gone through, had to do some serious dismantling of the styrofoam on this thing. There was parts, bags, and all hidden up underneath there I couldn't hardly get to. I think we've accomplished getting everything out of the box. I've gone through and counted everything. These are all in one bag, and this was in a bag, this was in a bag, and they kind of call that the cabinet hardware, I believe, all that stuff there. So we inventoried it, and that's what it looks like that stuff is. This extension table hardware, I'm not sure about that yet. We'll have to see that. I think must be maybe still buried in there. I don't know. We'll have to look and see. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and put the stand together, and that looks like we're just going to install the feet. We're going to have a little shelf in there, and we'll bolt it together with the little nuts and bolts that they call for. So we'll get that all put together. Okay, I've got to put together as far as the base goes. That's looking pretty good, and I got the mobile base put up underneath it. That's about as good as it's going to look there, I believe. That ought to hold it. And I've got this ready to go. That's as far as I can go. I've called in some backup to help me lift this thing up. This is definitely a two-man lift. So we're going to go ahead and hold this, and once we get it set in place, we'll go ahead and show you what it looks like setting in there, and we'll continue from that point. So stand by, we'll be right back with it setting on its base. Okay, and just as I promised, it's sitting on the stand. It's got 2 bolts in from the underneath of it. Up underneath here, there's just a couple of bolts under there that do right up into the frame. I don't know if you can see all those or not, but that's all it took on that. And the base wheels it around nice and easy. The next step is going to be, I believe, raising the bed up. So let's see, I have to read through the directions and see what I've got to do to get this thing so she'll do that. So we'll let you know when we get it. Okay, I've got it stood up. The way we do that, this lever underneath here is really just a push and pull, and that loosens it up. It's pretty solid, so no need to turn the handles or anything like that. It's just push it forward. It goes over the small cam back there, and then you pull it back to here. It locks it back down, and that puts it in the 90-degree turn. So that's all there is to getting it set up, getting it ready to go. So we'll go ahead and start adding some more pieces. Okay, this was on the back of this sander. We just released these 2, and don't need to take them all the way off, and they just kind of sit right into these little clips here, and you just pull it on out. Got the belt out of here. In order to loosen that up, there's a tensioning string here. You pull it back to this direction, and you're supposed to line your belt up. We just slid that on there. You do pay attention, your arrow. This is going to go this direction. So look at your arrows on your belt. They should face the same direction as travel. Once you get that in place, then you can go ahead and do that, and that puts the tension on it. So hopefully that should have it right where we need it, and we'll be ready to go to the next step. Okay, the directions here are given a bunch of different things here. It's almost like they normally wouldn't have this. They tell you how to put the hinges together, which this one came all together. They also teach you about how to put this together, and it already came that way. The only thing I had to do was add this little guard with 3 screws on here, and tighten those down, and then I've set the back guard back in place. It's ready to go, and then tighten this down. That keeps your dust collection in place. So I think we're good on that. So we'll go ahead and end up with the rest of these pieces are going to go on the other end to give us the support down there. So we'll see what it takes to put those in. Okay, I've looked at this, and we went ahead and set this down in there. There's a flat spot on there, so I'm assuming that's pretty much where that would go. And then we can go ahead and tighten this one up. And we'll just tighten this up a little bit, lock it in place. And that should have us. And then with that in place, let's see if we can do this. I think the only way you can do this is we've started a little screw, and we can set this in. You set it all the way to where you want it, and you can lock it down with the little hand crank to make sure it don't hit your belt. Now your dust collection is pretty much out of the program at this point, so that's got to have enough room to move out the way, and we'll see how that does. I don't know. I wish there was a way to not have to take this off each time that we have to use this end of it, but we'll see. Maybe that's not a problem. We'll just have to take this off and I guess set it in the bottom side. And I think that's really pretty much everything set up, ready to go. We'll go ahead and make sure our belt's going to track correctly. We'll look at the directions on that, and we'll be ready, I think, to plug it in. We've got this one other bracket. I need to figure out what that is. I don't even see it. So let me see what that is. We've got other tools here. I don't know what those are. Let me see if it shows any place else in here. Okay, I think we've pretty well got everything figured out. This is our vertical stop, is where that goes. It has a little pin in here. It sets down in there. They don't really specify on these handles too well as to which one goes where as far as the screws go. I know that we had 2 of them that were short. They go here and tighten down into the little pins that are in the bottom down there. So that works. This is if you turn your sander down and you want to use this in the vertical position. Probably won't use that a whole lot myself. I've got other sanders to do that, so this probably won't ever get used on mine. This is the stop for it, a T, so if you do have an angle or something, you can lock it in and it stays permanently placed. So you can set it up against it. That, I think, is actually supposed to come in from the other side, but probably could be used either direction. So that's on that one. This top crank up here, that one and the one that holds this table, one's a little longer than the other. I don't know really if there's a difference on which one goes where. This has to be back out of the way when you're using this end of it, so we'll take this back off, store it, like I say, and until needed. And we'll close this up and hook our dust collection up, because dust collection is definitely a big part of my shop. I don't like the dust everywhere. We'll have to hide this someplace. I'm not sure just where I'll put that at. Maybe it fits back here in the back someplace we can find a place, or in the bottom tray. I did forget to put the handle on here. There's 2 little things. One handle like this. This is supposed to be placed over top of that. That's a little tight squeeze to get that on there. But that goes on, makes that a little bit easier for your belt tension. And then the other one that comes with it is this one here. And that one's going to be used for adjusting your belt to up and down to get to level your belt off. So that'll not sit in there while it's running, but that should have it in place. So that, I believe, pretty well takes care of everything that we had on it. So we'll go ahead and we'll adjust the belt, make sure that's good, read through any other instructions they've got on that. And like I say, the belt tension should be pretty good, and all we should have to do is, if the tracking on this, we'll have to increase or decrease that, and it shows you which way to turn it to do that. So we shouldn't have any problem with that. We'll get it around here, hook up the power to her. We'll just verify I haven't missed anything, and we'll crank it up. Okay, we've got it temporarily. We don't know where its permanent home is, but I can borrow the dust collector off of that one and swing it around here and hook it to that side. So I think we're going to let it live right here for a little while. It's movable enough. If I have something on my table saw I need more distance than this, then we'll just wheel it out of the way. I might just kind of move it around and see how far I need to move it out of the way and let it roll at that. But that should be good. We'll go ahead and see how well the old dust collection system works. And we'll call that a good review. We'll surely have it in more of my videos, I'm sure, as we go on. I appreciate it. If you like it or you have any questions about it, give me a holler, a thumbs up, a subscribe to my channel. All that's appreciated. I always like to hear the comments. And we'll check with you on the next video. Thanks again.